this is the crazy one, because I remember saying to her, like, YouTube is never gonna happen. Like, I almost felt embarrassed for even trying it.
Welcome to In the Common Room With, a show brought to you by Word on the Curb and the Open University. We'll be bringing together some of your favourite content creators and personalities who will be discussing balancing creative careers alongside education and learning, as well as finding out who went to uni and who didn't.
I hate the phrase, have a backup.
You and me both, babe, sorry.
There you go.
That's already going to start an argument.
Don't even, bro.
Each episode, they'll be joined by their family or friends, so we'll see what role they played in their journey and get a unique glimpse into their lives. So who knows what we'll find out.
Hey guys, it's Henrie, and today I am in the common room with Taz and her best friend, Moon.
I knew from the beginning that she was going to be really successful.
I had many breakdowns around this time. I would have wanted to do YouTube more, right? But I didn't feel like I had time, which maybe that is a possibility that you can do both.
Yeah. How are you girls?
Good.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
Let's play like a little icebreaker game.
Yeah.
Of course, everyone's gone uni, so we all remember never have I ever. Yeah. So you guys know the aim of the game.
Yes.
If you have, you just put up the green side, and if you haven't, you put up the red side. As easy as that. So, question number 1. Never have I ever lied to my bestie about where I was.
No.
Oh, you guys are locked in. I love
I know, this is kind of what...
So
I'll be honest,
cute.
okay, we're not cool.
No, but
we're
it's
very,
cute,
like,
though.
we're all about, like, honesty and
Yeah.
trust. And all that. So we're really uncool. We were nerds in school.
Babe, that's the best foundation for
Okay.
any friendship.
We would meet up to study.
That
was our, like,
She got
thing.
me an A in maths. Like, that's, like, our friendship, you know?
I wish I was friends with you guys when I was growing up. All right, cool. So never have I ever borrowed something from a friend and kept it.
Don't even, bro.
Did you borrow?
Yeah, so
I still haven't seen that great
there were
hoodie.
these lovely tops that she designed. You
Yeah.
you sewed them yourself, and they were like lush, like what are they called when they're like half zip?
I tried to custom it.
Yeah.
And,
So she showed me them, and I was like, I like it. I'll have it.
And I never saw it again. And the grey one with the
grey
rocket.
one, I took it, and I take so many selfies in them. And just
Yeah.
Do you plan on giving it back?
No, it's part. It's part
I
of
have
me
too
now.
many clothes now, definitely. It's fine. It's fine.
Fair
I
enough.
haven't taken any from you.
No, I don't think so. It's one-sided, isn't
Yeah, I
Yeah.
hear it. If it's a nice top, keep it, babe. Never have I ever accidentally made myself sick from a food challenge.
No. I'm surprised I
Food
haven't.
challenge.
Yeah, we've never been sick.
You guys never did like the cinnamon challenge or anything?
No, we actually didn't do.
Really?
I wasn't part of that YouTube. I came in
era.
later.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, like Chubby Bunny and all that? That wasn't our era. We missed that.
But
Okay.
we did do remember trying the worst food, like a takeaway
Yeah.
thing?
We were
Where we got
sick
like
from
a
it.
Mars bar that
Yeah,
was
that
like
was so funny.
deep fried and all of that.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. And you
Wasn't
guys
sick
never
of
got
it,
sick?
but
No.
I mean, she
but it was
tried
funny.
it. Like she really tried it. I didn't
Yeah.
have the
Yeah.
guts to.
But I've
Strong
never
stomachs.
been. I usually
Nothing.
take it out before I get sick. But no, we haven't been sick.
No.
Yeah.
That's good.
I just get that you guys are great friends to each other, except for the top thing. But that's fine. We'll let
No, I'm
You're gonna let her keep it.
I have
Right,
loads
love
of
it.
clothes, it's cool.
Locked in. So I kind of want to get into you guys' relationship with each other because I already know that you guys have known each other for ages. So what was it like growing up with each other?
We've known each other since 3 and 4. So actually, we can't remember what we were like in the early stages because we were very familiar with each other because we saw each other every day. So it was never growing, right? Because it's like we were always around each other. So it was kind of the school setting. And then, what do you want to take away? It was different in different stages. So
Yeah.
primary school was just primary school. High school,
Oh, in high school we weren't very close. I found her quite annoying in
Yeah.
high school.
Oh, bless.
I loved her.
Yeah.
I thought it was great.
But we had an argument one time over Twilight, honestly, I wanted the Twilight book. She
Oh,
was
yeah.
advocating for her friend.
Friend, yeah.
And I was like, who do you think you are? Like, all of this.
Oh,
But in high school, yeah, I found it a
I
bit
don't
annoying.
remember
We just
that.
had different, like,
Yeah.
friendship groups slightly in high school.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was never like, it was because she was always constant, like, you know, in nursery, primary school, high school. It was just
I
never
was just
like
there.
a point where I was
This
kind of
friendship
like,
came about because I was just there.
no, but for me, you know, me with her, it was just never a point where I was like, she's my friend. And she was just always sort of like a constant
Yeah.
present. And then in college, we just got like
Close.
so close. Like,
I think once we start to think for ourselves, actually that's quite interesting. I think when we started to become our own people and think for ourselves, that's when we realised we're actually very similar than... And I think before then, in high school and all that, I think I was just trying to fit in.
So how would you guys describe each other now that you've come out of that setting and you are in college and you've got your own minds? How would you describe each other?
I think, I don't want to speak for you, but I feel like in college, for me personally, I was struggling mentally and I was trying to figure myself out. And I think maybe we leaned on each other in terms of support both academically. So like academically with maths, Moon literally taught me. This is how I know she's a great teacher, because she got me an A in A-level maths.
Incredible.
And I got a B in GCSE. So like she really helped me with that. But also emotionally maybe, like we had so much understanding. And what I like about Moon is once she got past my annoyingness, she got to see like I'm not that bad. And no, but like she's such a safety net. She's such a comforting person that I don't think actually was like she was doing anything, saying anything. I think it's just your presence was very comforting.
Yeah, I think for both of us, college was like the point where we both started to become more open and sort of like more like honest about who we really are. Whereas in high school, I was just all about...
Everyone was pretending, don't
like,
worry.
it was just...
We learned to appreciate
We learned to appreciate what...
Do you see bits of each other in each other? Like,
honestly, now I think when we're together, honestly, I see as like we are one, where we said earlier
Really
actually, where Moon knows what I'm thinking and how I'm feeling without me saying anything. So it very much feels like an extension. When I'm with Moon, it sounds really lame, but I feel like she's my comfort person and I feel safe. Like when I'm with her, it's like I don't have to think as much. I can kind of like, because it's like, oh, she's here. So I got it covered. And that's such a nice, I think it's beyond friendship at that point, right? It's just a safe person. I would describe Moon as like one of my safe people. It's really nice.
It's gonna make me cry. Okay,
It's like therapy now.
No, honestly. So what age did you decide that you wanted to start making YouTube videos then, Taz?
It was in college. It was definitely in college, but it was definitely a time where, like, for like the majority of our friends, it was unheard of.
Yeah.
Like it was sort of like.
What did your friends say? Like when you said you wanted to start doing that, especially with.
Well, it was
YouTube
never
being
like
so
a
new?
formal declaration or anything like that. Because like YouTube wasn't cool back then. It wasn't like a cool thing to say. I think. I don't know, actually. I think it just happened really... I don't know. And maybe it was one friend would be like, I want to make a video. Do you want to be part of it? But it wasn't like... It was more like home videos. It wasn't like, we're going to be on YouTube and all that. It's very like... You know when you make home videos? It was like that. But you know what I still to this day find cool, really wild about Moon is like how you're so okay with being on the channel, because like... It could have been so embarrassing, but you were like so... Because back then people would be like, I'm not going to be... But she was always game, and that's kind of crazy. I milked it.
What made you want to be so, like, wanting to be involved in it?
Me, I just found it really, really cool. Being such a fan of YouTube, I was just like, like, she's getting into it. And I know that Taz, whenever she's into something, she will go hard. Like, she will go for it. So I was like, I'm kind of intrigued to see, like, I knew from the beginning that she was going to be really successful. I knew you were going to be successful. So I was like, okay, I just want to, like, I'm intrigued with how... So when she started, I remember vividly, she was like, when we were in college, I want to do, like, a skit. It was a homemade sort of skit. Some of our friends found it a bit uncomfortable, but I was just like, I want to go for it. I want to see what it goes. I love this. Like, this is fun. And that's genuinely, I just found it fun.
And so did your teachers know that you were doing YouTube at the time?
I don't think so. It wasn't something I really broadcasted. Ironically. Like, I didn't want anyone to know, because I had a channel before this one. I don't know where that is, or if I can even delete it or
Access
whatnot.
it,
But, like, I didn't tell anyone. I never told anyone ever. I still don't tell people. If they find out, they find out, but I never have told people.
Why not?
It's embarrassing, isn't it? It's like, I'm not going to go around and be like, I'll make videos.
Actually.
I don't.
YouTube.
I feel like I still have the old school YouTube mentality of like, we don't say. I don't know if anyone found out, because it was after I graduated, I think, that it really popped off.
It sort of remained as something that we sort of did. Like, because it was just... In the earlier stages, it would just, I wouldn't...
We weren't getting views. Ain't nobody watching it.
It was just funny challenges that we would do, or like, we did like the best friend tag thing. And we'd spend like an hour on that, and then I'd go to my shift.
Oh, bless you.
I didn't come thinking we're going to do a YouTube video. I was just like...
It's like a hanging out.
It
did feel like hanging out. It wasn't as professional as YouTube is now. Before then, it's like home videos.
It's just quality time with each other.
Honestly. That was my love language.
Oh, cute.
Hey guys, it's your girl Kirsty, and I hope you're enjoying this episode of In the Common Room With. We're so excited to be working with the Open University, so I thought I'd take this minute to tell you a little bit more about them and how you can take full advantage of everything they have to offer. The OU is a leading provider in distance learning and online courses. So if you're looking for more flexibility or autonomy whilst you study, this is the uni for you. The OU provides over 200 qualifications, all of which you can study from the comfort of your own home or wherever you are in the world. Just make sure you get that coursework done. If you want to find out more information, hit the link in the description to find out more. Enjoy the rest of the episode, guys. Bye.
And so for both of you, you obviously now have two very different jobs, but when in each of your lives did you decide that this is who I want to be, this is the career path I'm going to choose?
So I always wanted to do something creative, but I didn't think I could do that. So I went down the law route because I was also encouraged. Do I go from the scratch, from the beginning?
Babe, wherever you want to start, I'm ready to go on this journey with
Okay,
you.
should we start then? Should we both start with school, how our school was?
Go ahead.
Okay, so then let's start off with school. So we went to state school, and it was a very, at the time we were there, very low performing. I think in 2011 or something, no, I can't remember what year, but like only 14% of students passed with 5 GCSEs.
Whoa.
And like, you weren't even, it wasn't like normal to encourage you to go to uni. It was
Yeah.
more like just get the 5 GCSEs.
14%?
1-4, yeah.
Whoa.
It was very, yeah.
5?
I think only, how many people from our year went to uni?
Uni? No, I don't know about that. But in terms
10?
of 5 GCSEs, I know a very small percentage when we left got the 5 GCSEs.
Yeah. It was very low
It
performing.
was really low performing. Yeah.
And I don't know, honestly, we were nerds, but I think we were just naturally quite nerdy people. And because we hang around with each other, we just cared about getting good grades and stuff. And because of that, if you're studious people in a low-performing school, they kind of push you to go down the academic route.
Yeah.
So you definitely feel this pressure of like, you don't want to waste your potential.
Sure.
But potential was seen as very academic. And we also come from a like low-income household, socio-economic background. So all of that, if you care about grades and stuff like that, I don't know why we went to uni. We just thought of it as the
It
next
was
step.
the next step. Yeah, it was sort of like ingrained in me. For me, I was into just like high school,
Yeah.
college.
Did you hear my deep sigh?
Yeah.
Because that's what
quite
it's like for most of
universal.
us, isn't it? Yeah. Especially like, I guess when you go to uni, how old are you? Like, if you're going through like the normal stages, you're like,
18.
you're 18, still quite young, still trying to figure out what you want to do with your life. And I don't know about you guys, but for me, it just felt like, right, this is what I need to do now. Like, if I'm going to study law, I'm going to become a lawyer. Like, there was no
And it
like
was
in-between
so-
stage.
Yeah, and it was so definitive,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Like your whole life has been mapped out
Yep.
before you can even think for yourself.
Yep.
Then when we graduated, so I graduated a year before Moon, and this was a very memory. So like graduation, I had done everything I was told to. I got the degree. It's supposed to be a good day, right? It's meant to be a day of like achievement, so you feel good about yourself. We had done all the pictures and all that, and then we sat by the fountain, and Moon, it was just Moon and I, and I just started crying, saying I felt like a failure.
No.
Because I genuinely felt like, I remember saying like, I don't know what, like I don't know, like, you know, the real word scared me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know where I'm gonna go from here. What did I say? It was something like, I just felt like, it's over,
I know,
kind
I think,
of, yeah.
the vibe I got was really much like, well, what next? Like,
Yeah.
I've done
And I
what
just
I'm
felt,
supposed to do.
yeah.
What
Yeah.
next am I supposed to...
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was just the fact that it was just on the graduation day, and I was like...
Yeah.
oh, on
And she didn't know what to
such a
do.
happy day, like,
Yeah.
You know.
And then I tried, like I basically had an office job and I would try to do YouTube on the side and all that. And obviously it doesn't happen straight away. And you know when you have that existential crisis where you want to pursue your passion, but you also have this law degree and you don't want to waste, because for so many years people saw you as like the golden, like, you know, so you're almost like throwing that away and you kind of want to attach yourself. That's nice when people see you that way. And then I had another breakdown in the park and I called you.
Yes.
I had many breakdowns around this time. And I called Moon, which is now, this is the crazy one, because I remember saying to her, like, YouTube is never gonna happen. Like, I almost felt embarrassed for even trying it, because it's like, everyone can see you trying, and it's just not gonna happen. Everyone looks at you kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
And so but she was the one person I felt safe to talk about it in a way she's not gonna be like, okay, well, be a bit realistic. Or she was just like, comforting. And now it's crazy to think of that conversation because everything worked out, but like that's crazy that we had that conversation, and like I kept on doing YouTube and she would be in videos, and that's why people love Moon so much in my videos to this day, because she was there from the beginning, and luckily it all worked out and now I love my job. But there were definitely moments where it was like I felt so like you're probably one of the only people that didn't make me feel silly for trying YouTube. Again, I struggled mental health-wise because I was doing a job that had nothing to do with my degree, and I felt like, you know, when you leave uni, it's a very crucial window where they're like, if you don't get on the graduate schemes, if you don't, you're gonna be so behind. So it's such a massive risk. And if it didn't work out, then I spent 2 years not looking good. But luckily, it did work out. And but I needed time, so I was thinking more about. For the first time, I was choosing myself, and I chose time.
Moon, you touched on it a while ago, but I just wanted to ask how culture kind of influenced the choices that you made in terms of the uni that you guys picked, or even down to the subject that you picked as well. Because I know for me, it didn't influence me in the way that my mum said do this, so I did this. But because she wanted me to do law, because she wanted me to do this, she wanted me to do that, I was like, I'm running the other way and I'm running to a different city. Bye. So how did culture influence you guys, if in any way?
Wow. Well, culturally, I wasn't really allowed to move out of the house. It was very much and a lot of my friends who were ethnic minorities shared that sort of sentiment of just staying at uni local to them. So I just, for me, it wasn't even really an option. It was weird because my mum would take me to open days to Bristol, Reading, things like that. And it was this thing where, unsaid thing where it's kind of this place is nice, but you're going to go nearby and that sort of thing. And so honestly, it massively affected where I went, but I didn't consider how much of an impact sort of the lack of diversity would have on me. In my course, I don't know about you, but in psychology, I was the only black girl on it. The only black girl. And I used to wear the headscarf as well, so I was the only black Muslim girl on there as well. Well, still am, but then it was just, I could not have felt more out of place. And I didn't realise it at the time, but it did affect me how a lot of the activities at uni are tailored towards being able to drink, being able to go out and have flatmates and things like that. And I was just I almost felt
I had to
wait.
watching rugby?
I know.
That's for a London girl. What am I actually doing? It's got nothing to do with me, but I think you're absolutely right in that, because I felt the exact same. So it was a big culture shock for me. What made you wait until you graduated to start?
Because I had to get that degree. The amount of money you're putting in, I could not. Because law is very you put 100% and it still never feels enough, And I was in the library doing crazy hours, and all my friends would say the same thing, right? I know YouTube, in order to do well, you need to invest a lot of time in it and dedication, and there's just no way you can balance. But I do it as a job now, and I get burnt out all the time. You know what I mean? It's just, and also when you care about something so much, you don't want to
do it half-heartedly.
Yeah, half-heartedly. I was going to say in a different way then, as I was saying. So I felt also I was depressed. And so it was hard to put myself online in that respect. I just felt where's the time to do that? Let's not lie, uni was tough. And actually there was no resources, unless we weren't aware of it. It was more these are the expectations, and you put a lot of money and time in it, and we also naturally are quite tough on ourselves. So all of that just meant that we were just this is what we're told to do, so we would do it. But looking back, obviously if we had the opportunity, we would have loved to have flexibility, and I would have loved to have felt not only I can do YouTube alongside study, but it was supported and encouraged.
This is what I was going to ask you guys. So even in terms of flexibility, just like you were saying, what then would an ideal week at uni look like for you, even if you were studying the same thing? If you're putting into the whole context of it, flexibility and having that room to breathe and everything else, what then would uni look like for you? What would an ideal uni experience be like?
I would want uni to be more explorative.
Right.
I think that's what I'm coming down to. I think I would say it doesn't have to be a specific thing. I think I wish it, and maybe they were, but I just wasn't seeing it, because a lot of it comes from our own perception, right? But I wish it was just a bit more explorative, and I don't know how.
Because a lot. It did feel like that. You chose a subject, and that would be it. You'd never learn about anything else. When in actuality, in reality, it's not just one subject. Psychology is not the only subject that I was really interested. I was really interested in maths. I was really interested in different subjects. So I think having that option of
time, and flexibility. I think ultimately it comes down to time, right? Because what you the things you'd want to do, you do in your own time. So it's not it would be part of your course, but you want to have that time, and also understanding of people being that's, I don't know, people weren't negative about it. It just felt like you couldn't do it. There was just no time to sustainably do something else on the side.
And you see, for me as well, I wish that if mine was to be ideal, I wouldn't want it to feel like my uni life is running me. I want to run my uni life, thank you very much. I mean, if it's my degree and I'm the one that's paying for it, why can't I say that I'm going to uni on Wednesday and not on Thursday?
Actually, when you think about it, it's
Yeah.
such a drastic change, right?
Yeah.
You're just expected to be an adult straight away. Mental health, financially, people struggle because you're only given a pot of money, and a lot of us aren't taught how to budget, right? And like, you expected just to become friends with people you live with, but that's not always the case.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people don't even know if they've made the right choice in the. You know, it's just a crazy, when you really think about it from an outside perspective. Because right now, our lives, I would say, I have a lot of autonomy over my life. Do you feel like you have a lot of autonomy?
Yeah.
Autonomy
and it makes
is the word here, by the way.
Yeah, and it makes
key word.
such a difference in your mental health when
Yeah.
you've chosen.
Yeah.
But at such a young age, we say that.
And do you know what? That's kind of the reason why we're here anyway, with Word on the Curb and the Open University, because when I found out about the OU, I was like, bro, so what? This existed this whole time. Like, if I could turn back the hands of time, genuinely, I would love a degree that, again, worked for me, where it's more autonomy over the fact that, all right, cool, you've gone to uni to do this, so this is what you need to do. And it's flexible and works in my time. Do you know what I mean? If it's my degree, I want to own it.
Exactly, yeah.
Thanks.
Isn't it crazy that we didn't even know that was a
I
thing?
know.
Like,
It wasn't even an option.
we didn't hear about
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
didn't hear, no.
And do you think, looking back now, imagine if you had that autonomy, how different our lives would be?
Oh, babe. Oh,
All
babe.
the therapy and the mental health we could have avoided.
No, of course, like, I genuinely think that if I was able to pursue my career in presenting and also, I don't know, have a flexible degree, it would make me more confident in who I am once having left uni.
Yeah.
Because again, like, kind of
No
what you were saying,
breakdowns.
there's no, like, jump from one thing to the
Yeah.
other. There's no, oh my gosh, like, what now? Because I was already doing what I was doing from before anyway.
You're
I'm
so
just
right.
carrying on my passion and it now carrying on with my degree into real life. And I think that's how it should be.
And a lot of people do struggle with the transition into,
Yeah.
like, after uni, a lot of people struggle with existential
Oh,
crisis
babe,
because
I
you're
did.
in the real world, as they
Yeah.
say. But if it's more of like a transition, like you said,
Yeah.
it's not like this fear, like you're in the unknown.
And you're not starting something brand new, because I can imagine starting a YouTube was like, whoa, like, now I'm gonna have to start and I've graduated. Because for me, presenting is like, oh my days, where do I go now? Like,
Yeah.
who's gonna hire me? Please, TV, take me. But do you know what I mean? If I was like starting presenting during uni and felt like I was comfortable, like you said, it would have been way more of a comfortable transition. So even when I was in uni, I felt like I couldn't even take a holiday. Like I told you guys, I couldn't go home. There was one thing that my dad really wanted for me, actually, especially growing up and into my uni years, which was to take 6 months away and like go to Nigeria and experience the media world there. But I was always like, no, I can't. Like, there's too much to do here. I can't take time out of uni. I can't do any of that. And now I realise that it's actually possible. And the fact that your mind can open up to all of those possibilities now, I just think that it's just incredible. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm starting to process it now. Imagine uni being like that. That was
Yeah, man.
wild. That's so different to like what our experience was.
And again, like, the key, I just love the fact that you said autonomy, because that's the word that I was like trying to think of for so long. If I like knew distance learning was a thing from time ago, I would have jumped at the chance 100%.
Yeah, and then I could have done like YouTube and studied at the same time.
Yeah, man. Listen, as long as you've got internet, you're ready to go. If I had that, again, my whole confidence would have been built up from early. Like, I am who I am, and I'm taking charge
so
of my
true.
life, not just my
Oh
degree.
my God, that's so true. There's so much you can talk about that as well. Like
Yep.
how sometimes you can be book smart, but it doesn't set you up for life. Because in the real world, you have to, suddenly you're expected to make decisions for yourself and know how to do your taxes, know how to set up a business and all that. You're not taught like that in uni. So actually having a system where you're making decisions for yourself, the earlier on you can
Yeah.
be, it's going to set you up for the real world way. I feel like this system would actually set you up for the real world way more than how we were in the traditional route.
Yeah, man.
Personally, because now I am self-employed, right?
Yeah.
And it's a very different way of living and thinking.
You're living in London now, Taz. Are you living in London as well now, Moon?
No, oh my
No.
God, no. Not.
She said, oh my God.
Nope.
No, I just can't.
Couldn't be me.
Couldn't handle it. So tell me, Taz, what's the biggest difference between Wales and London?
I think context matters, right? If I studied law here, maybe the difference wouldn't be as it wouldn't be that much of a difference. I don't know. But when I was in Cardiff, I was doing law and things like that. But when I moved to London, I was specifically in the YouTube world. I had been more established by that point. So I was kind of meeting people in the creative world. So already that's very different, right? I wasn't in the creative world in Cardiff. But I have found London, being in London, well, we had this conversation earlier of like you find London quite fast-paced, right? And for someone like Moon...
Moon is over it.
Yeah, and she's not even been here long enough, but she's like, which is fine, we're very different, but like, for me, I think I thrive off of let's constantly changing, adapting, trying new things. I think what I struggled a lot, again, because you don't know yourself when you're young, so how do you know what fits for you? But like law is very like, I'm not very good at sitting in one place. It's mad that I've been here for like an hour, you know what I mean? But like, I'm not good at like sitting in one place and just like doing that day in, day out. Whereas London, it's moving, there's constantly new opportunities.
Everything then that you've learnt, Moon, in the course of the life of Moon, what kind of teacher do you aim to be?
Oh God. I think the type of teacher that I would have wanted if I was in school.
Which is like what? Like, give us an example.
So someone who's quite like empathetic, someone who's like unconditionally understanding. I think that's something that like a quality that students say that they quite like about, you know, sort of me. The fact that I offer like a bit of a safe space in lessons. So, you know, in my room is very much like, guys, we're going to discuss what we can here. Please don't be ashamed or shy, you know, don't shy away from discussing things. Even if you're not sure if they're right or wrong, bring them up because we can clarify them here, you know, as much as possible. So it always does fill me with a bit of pride when I have a student who, and it happens a lot, who has started out really shy and really afraid to say certain things, and then as time goes on they do ask questions that I know they'd be really scared to ask outside of the classroom.
So even like it helped me grow, because growing up I didn't really, I say I didn't have a personality and all that, I didn't really come into my own until like college and all that, but like it really, sometimes it sounds crazy, but you just need that one person to make you feel included, that you have a space here to feel welcomed, to say like, we're gonna listen and make you feel heard and see what your needs are.
Yeah.
But if I had a teacher like Boone, I wonder how different I would have been. And like,
just someone that's
I would have saved myself a lot of breakdowns, you know?
Oh, Moon. And with everything that you have experienced in your life, what kind of YouTuber do you aim to be?
I think it is. I've never thought about this out loud, because a lot of time you just do what you do, right? But I think my end goal is I want to create a safe space on my channel where when you come to my channel, I just want people to feel very like, because YouTube to me is my escape. It's where I go, where I don't have to be anything. I can just be myself, explore, try new things, get things wrong, make mistakes, learn, and just be a human being, but like completely feel very carefree. And so I think what I would want is for people to come to our channel and just feel like, oh, I'm safe here. I can just be myself. I can laugh. I can learn things in life. I can go traveling. I can try different foods, and like we can see friendship, and just like feel very calm and safe.
Before we go, what advice would you like to give to somebody who is looking to study but also pursue their passion at the same time?
I would say what we said earlier is like, it's really hard to do, but like advocate for yourself. It's so important. I don't think we had the confidence when we were younger to truly advocate for our needs. Yeah. And that's something we've grown with time. Now we're learning more things about boundaries. I did not know what boundaries was growing up. I didn't even know that was a concept that... You asked earlier, like, what would you have asked for differently? It's like, I didn't know I could.
Yeah.
So I think actually people knowing there are options and like really being like, if something, your body will tell you if it doesn't feel right. And now that we've lived life, all three of us, we know how good it feels when we choose us,
the right thing, yeah.
So now we can say from hindsight, choose you. Also, I feel like no one's gonna have your back as much as you, because at the end of the day, you're gonna be the one that has to live with the decisions you've made. So just try to, as much as you can, advocate for yourself and honor that. And there are options out there that will embrace what you want to do.
And Moon, for you, if you saw a student out there who, let's say they've got a creative passion, they really want to do something incredible, but they also are looking at going to university as well, what advice would you give to them?
I definitely would tell them to, or advise them not to necessarily follow sort of the, I don't want to say it, but like the route that people tell, the traditional sort of route that people have sort of ingrained for them to follow. I would tell them to just look more into making it possible. And like Taz said, just advocate for themselves and putting their own needs first. A lot of the times you feel like, oh, I'm going to university, it's academic. And because it's academic and because it's, you know, for your degree, everything else is put to the side, everything. And it's just weird because like it almost does detrimentally prepare you for your job after uni, because you similarly put your job before everything else at uni and afterwards. So I would definitely sort of tell them to treat their sort of their interests and their hobbies as importantly as they would their degree, because you know if you're passionate, I genuinely believe if you're passionate about something, it'll pay off. Like you know, you work hard at it, it just naturally it'll pay off. So Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. This was In the Common Room with Taz and Moon, everybody.
Yay!
That is that's the million-dollar question, being a part of the creative industry. It is polar opposite to what I was used to. It would have been nice, you know, having the option to do the lectures in and around football.
Are you and Eva still an item?
We are going